and gentlemen.
Welcome to the show. It's Movie Wire time. Oh, the Movie Wire. Bring the firing squad. Bill, Justin. Give the finger or laugh or smile. It's time to find out. No more waiting. So here we go. The Sultan of Cinema. The gumshoe of review. Here is Justin Henson. Let's start the show. Let's go.
Welcome to the Movie Wire.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Movie Wire. I'm your host, Justin Henson, and welcome to the show. We've got a big show this week with 3 brand new reviews, with 2 playing in theaters and 1 that's streaming right now. This week on the show, Crime is the Disease, Meow is the Time for a Cure in Super Troopers 3, 12 Hours of Sex can change everything in one night only. And finally, it's Pickleball, Deal with It. Jake Johnson stars in the Apple TV exclusive, The Dink. We've got a lot to cover this week, so let's jump right in. Ready for my verdict? Let's get into it.
Out of the windows, a roar and a burst of flame. The Movie Wire podcast. We just need people like me.
The Wire.
And here we go.
We don't need to talk, let's just make love.
2 New Yorkers search for love on the one night of the year when premarital sex is legal, set by a government mandate, in one night only.
You make me go. It goes easy. You know that you make me lose control. I know it's just dopamine. I'm hungry.
Huh?
I'm hungry.
Huh?
So hungry.
We're closed.
Tripping on our chemistry. I know the owner. It's firing up inside of me. This is the best pizza I've ever had. I think it's better than sex. I can't remember.
What's your favorite part
Extra cheese.
of sex?
The build up.
That's just a typical lady answer.
What's yours? Boobs? Cowgirl? You like to jackhammer?
Wow. For me, it's about the after.
Oh, come on.
2 people lying there, sharing a secret. Finding love is hard enough. Try doing it on the one night a year single people are legally allowed to have sex. I hate this night. Mom, I'm just gonna stay in.
No, you should go out. This night's insane. I just want to find, like, a good guy.
To finding true love on the least romantic night of the year.
We're gonna go slow. We're gonna make good choices. Allie,
This is Tayshawn.
Hello.
We met in line for the bathroom.
what? Yeah.
No.
Can I get a whiskey?
How is anyone supposed to find something real on a night like tonight?
Sorry.
I'm Owen.
Allie,
What about us?
Your ears look like car doors.
Well, your nose is way too small for your face.
Your chin could plow a field.
Your legs don't make any sense.
Your hairline doesn't make any sense.
Night's almost over, and we're running out of time. We're all just trying to find someone who makes going through it worth it.
Who would you choose
Allie!
if you only had one night?
Are you 2 together? I'm gonna need a clear answer.
You're cute when you're nervous.
I'm not nervous.
Saying you're just cute.
Okay, let's just get the cat out of the bag here. First, this movie demands for you to suspend your disbelief. No government official will ever mandate only a single day of sex for those not married. Unless there was, say, I don't know, an island involved where the rules were hidden. Next, if everybody abided by this rule, let's be real. Every sexual interaction after a year of no sex for a man at least would be a disappointment for the woman. And lastly, as we see a government official report on the TV screen in the film that teen pregnancies are down, STDs are down, but there is no real mention of marriage on the upside. If this was a realistic mandate, we would see an uptick in marriage, an increase like no other, like a strict Catholic that doesn't want to be Catholic take the first opportunity to get it on by putting a ring on it. So as you go into One Night Only, there will be a lot of questions, but the movie really self-realizes what it really is, as a sexual version of 2013's The Purge. We even get a countdown to the exact moment where instead of a mob of killings, we get a mob of humping. Hell, even the movie demonstrates an actual countdown to the moment like in The Purge. But this is where The Purge did it better, with a memorable countdown that's indented into your mind. When it comes to One Night Only, I felt we should have had a countdown like, I don't know, like the Pornhub theme playing on loop. Or Barry White singing during the countdown. But that's just me on a minor problem of the film. It could have been a sexier countdown, I don't know. It's not about the sex for a sex movie.
What?
It's a typical rom-com about finding that someone special through a night of sex.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The movie stars Allie, played by Monica Barbaro, who is destined to find her prince on the night of sex.
Talk dirty to me.
Where we also meet Owen, played by Callum Turner, who is in a relationship, but the girl he's dating wants to sleep with somebody else on the one night of the year they can actually have sex. But she still wants to stay together.
Run, bitch! Run!
The two eventually meet after a lapse of failed hookups of what they're not looking for. Except Owen has some better luck of what he's looking for. But of course, on the night of sex, he doesn't have a condom. That, by the way, is also required for the night of sexcapades. But everyone is sold out. Now, to poke a hole not in the condom, but in the movie, which is a hole here since he obviously planned on having sex with his said girlfriend, doesn't have a plan of protection, which is part of the mandate. So that draws away from the fantasy of this movie. But for every moment or mention of disbelief, here adds some cleverness to it, such as vendors selling sex samples on the street, inflation on the price of a shortage of condoms, which, by the way, for an entire year of no sex, I wondered how can there be a shortage of condoms? Wouldn't there be like a spirit Halloween for condoms if it's once a year? Wouldn't condom companies bank on their financials on a single day of the year? And if they didn't sell them, just sell the overstock the next year, transfer it to the next year. But again, back to it. Suspend your disbelief, sure. It's not about the questions here. It's about a rom-com that will make you take something away through the topic of sex and hopefully make you laugh. And open and honest, One Night Only did make me laugh quite a bit, actually, when the movie is apparent that it knows what it wants to do, what it wants to be, which is take a ridiculous topic and have fun with itself. And in the first half of the movie, it does just that. It has some good jokes, but when the movie gets tied up in the rom versus the com, that's where the movie really does start to tumble, where we can see the arc of the relationship from Allie and Owen pretty much in the trailer. And there is nothing more than that, in which I wish there was more between this chemistry. We get into a playfully fun beginning, including some familiar faces that actually are entertaining, including Pete Davidson and Bobby Cannavale as actors shooting a movie where they meet Owen by accident and feel some sympathy for him for not having a girl to have sex with on the night of sex, in which Davidson states that he would fuck him. I gave out a huge belly laugh because it was brilliant comedic timing. Or we take another surprise face, another surprise appearance from LeVar Burton from Star Trek The Next Generation and Reading Rainbow, that when he first appears on screen, I thought that this is a dirty trick, where now I can only picture Geordi watching VR porn from his visor or having a special episode of Reading Rainbow covering Hustler. But in the end, these are memorable moments, and they stayed with me well after the film was done because they were funny. But as we get into the back half, all these moments vanish. This is where the movie tries to tie everything together of sweetness, where it starts as calm and goes to rom. There is really no intertwined balance of both, nor does it really prove a solid point of sex or relationships or even government mandates. that already doesn't sound rom or com or sexy when adding the word mandate into a romantic comedy. But at the end of the day, I have to say, I was entertained by One Night Only. It does tackle some topics that on the surface wouldn't feel very entertaining or romantic or funny. A mandate that the government takes our sex away. Fuck you guys. But it does manage to make it fun. But at the same time, for a rated R movie about sex only on one night, it felt too safe, to the point we get glimpses of public sex, but nudity is scarce. If you're going to make this movie about everybody pulling their pants down on one night, go full R. Make a movie for adults. Just be taboo. This is a movie with the overhanging topic of sex. One Night Only really feels it goes out of its way to hide the taboo versus just go with the topic. And, if the movie wants us to suspend our disbelief in its concept, then bring us into fantasy of not censoring a movie, especially with a movie with an R rating. This is the problem with movies today that get released into theaters, is that there is such a fear of backlash, who's going to see it, or showing too much. It's rated R for a fucking reason. Go all in. Have confidence in the concept. But what could you expect from writer Travis Braun, whose previous works include 2 episodes of Muppet Babies and 1 episode of Puppy Dog Pals?
You have been banned from the Mickey Mouse Club for inappropriate behavior.
This should have been called Travis Braun After Dark, while writing children TV shows. But here is the good pivot. Our director, Will Gluck, from 2023's Anyone But You, fuck Glenn Powell, with Glenn Powell seems to appear in a picture in this movie as a loose cameo, in which this movie loses credit for that. Sorry, fuck Glenn Powell. But anyway, Gluck has shown from his previous work like Easy A, Peter Rabbit, to even 2009's Fired Up, knows how to have a good time with the material, and he does present some fun factor here. One Night Only is a safe rom-com that dangles topics that should be taboo over our head that could make us feel angry in today's political environment, but manages to make us laugh, feel good, and at times mildly suspend our disbelief. This is one of those films you go into and expect a fantasy comedy, nothing less, nothing more. It is a rom-com that checks all the boxes, even if it doesn't make sense. And I have to say, I smiled and I laughed more times than I thought I would from this film. It was a pleasant surprise, and I can picture having a few drinks, cozying up in a blanket, being sexually frustrated, and know that even Callum Turner has trouble getting laid. And when it comes to Oscar time, let's be real. The real star of this movie was Monica Barbaro's Dress. I'm giving One Night Only 3 stars.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Now, before we get into the rest of the show, make sure you check out movies that just became available to rent, buy, or stream now.
Now available on video cassette.
Hollywood has a monster problem, along with a Minion problem that is the weakest of the franchise, and Minions and Monsters that received 2 stars. Before he led a revolution, he survived one in Young Washington that deserved a better revelation than Revolution that received 2 stars. It will be fun, and surely it was, and one of the best pictures of the year in The Invite that received 3.5 stars. Every family has their demons in Evil Dead Burn that surpasses the last one with memorable characters that the movie actually utilizes to receive 3 stars. But don't ever use CGI in an Evil Dead movie again. Thanks. Truth. Justice. Whatever. And that describes my review in Supergirl that received 1.5 stars. It will never stop, and if you liked Obsession, you will probably like Leviticus that received 3.5 stars. Be careful what you wish for in Obsession that taps into uncomfortable social horror to be one of the best films of the year that received 3.5 stars. The Devil of Passion returns with Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway reprising their roles in The Devil Wears Prada 2. That doesn't change much except for the relevance of time. So if you like the first one, you will probably like this one receiving 3 stars. A crew of professional shoplifters take aim at a cutthroat fashion maven. It's like community service in I Love Boosters, and I loved a lot of it, but by the end I couldn't say I Love Boosters, receiving 2.5 stars. Surviving the crash is just the beginning in Rennie Harlan's Deep Water. That is better than all of his Stranger movies, and I'll just leave it at that to receive 2.5 stars. Witness the birth of modern Russia and the men that shaped it in The Wizard on the Kremlin, that if you pay attention and appreciate just the mere performances, it's worth a watch to receive 3 stars. Their fight our future in Mortal Kombat 2, which was more memorable than the first film, but that's not saying much to receive 2 stars. Discover the making of the king, the origin of an icon in Michael, that was pop full of energy and leaves us wanting more to receive 3 stars. When billions get stolen, meet the pros who steal it back in Guy Ritchie's In the Gray. And I gotta be honest, this is a first for the show. A movie that was so forgettable, I even forgot to even publish my review of it on the show. But just so you know, I gave it 2 stars. As an in-the-moment, nothing better to do Guy Ritchie film that just spliced together his other movies. I blink, I twitch, I jump, I click, I whistle, I shout, and I swear is one of the best films of the year to receive 4 stars. Check in, we've been expecting you, and I wasn't expecting an eerie movie that leaves you in thought in Hokum that received 3 stars. It's down to the wire and fuse that promises a good time but fizzles out halfway through the movie to receive 2 stars. Their time is now, a cautionary tale in this retelling of Animal Farm, which my cautionary tale is not to ever watch this movie to receive 0 stars. Break up the role in the execution and over your dead body. That was driven by the fantastic ensemble of great performances to receive 3 stars. The galaxy awaits in this Super Mario sequel that wasn't that super, but rather just an Easter egg sugar rush in the Super Mario Galaxy movie that received 2 stars. What happened to Katie? And a take on The Mummy that made me want to go back to the Tom Cruise battling the Mummy and Lee Cronin's The Mummy that received 2 stars. Small town, big secret that shows that Bob Odenkirk is a breakout, unexpected action star. And Normal that taps into 90s fun of action films to receive 3.5 stars. Believe in Hail Mary that I believed was too long. I believed it looked great. I believed it was a good theater experience to receive 3 stars. Don't overlook any anomalies. Based on the video game comes Exit 8 for limited dialogue and based on a video game had a lot to say to receive 3 stars. Witness the wedding of the year and witness drama that doesn't stop after the reveal in The Drama that received 3.5 stars. New game, Fresh Blood, Double or Nothing, and Ready or Not 2 that didn't really add anything but subtracted the fun factor to receive 2 stars. Nature Can't Be Silenced in Disney Pixar's Hoppers that taps into all the emotions from heart to thrills for a perfect family adventure to receive 3.5 stars. Let Them Try in an admirable attempt at a survival thriller in They Will Kill You, but added nothing new to the table except moments of entertainment to receive 2.5 stars. Witches in Retail that mixes The Craft and Mean Girls, and I was all for the witty dialogue that drove the entertainment factor in Forbidden Fruits that received 3 stars. And finally, Everyone Deserves a Second Chance, except Reminders of Him, that I never want a reminder of this movie to receive 1.5 stars. Now, before I get into the last set of reviews, there is a podcast that's become one of my weekly listening routines to give me a mental break from the stresses of work, and that is with J&K over the Fuck My Work Life podcast. Make sure to follow and subscribe. The link to their show will be in the description of this episode. But let's hear from J&K over the Fuck My Work Life podcast now.
Have you ever had a bad day at work?
Well, the Fuck My Work Life podcast is perfect for you.
Host J&K share listeners' entertaining stories from the workplace, which may have you thinking you don't have it so bad after all.
Find Fuck My Work Life on your favorite podcast platform.
When Farva's over-the-top Indian engagement to Thorny's sister spirals into chaos, the Super Troopers must navigate Thorny's schemes to break up the relationship, all while trying to bring down a new drug ring in Super Troopers 3.
Fucking idiot.
All units respond.
We have reports of a high-speed chase.
I give to you
Our first electric patrol car.
Fuck electricity. Boom.
Well. If it isn't the old timers passing the torch to the new generation.
You beat my rookie in a foot race? No ticket.
Wait, what?
1, 2, 3, go!
Hey, Thorny, we're super excited for your hot sister's wedding. To Rod Farva.
Son of a bitch.
Got any beer?
That's my shirt. It's a good sex shirt.
I got a Postmates delivery of 12 short and wide condoms for Rod Farva.
Only 12? I guess I'll have to do.
Here I come, babe!
Come get your cream, girl!
I'm gonna stop this wedding. Mom, Dad, this is Farva.
Oh my God, babe, you clean up great.
I wonder if they have any white tea here. Oh, wait, that's me, Whitey.
We do like racial humor.
Who doesn't?
Farva texted me his list of demands for the bachelor party. Bum fights, Russian roulette, strip club.
What the hell? Hello, boys. Pull up a cup chair.
Cut it back.
Tokyo Drift, motherfucker!
Watch it, Farva.
Is it possible we're no longer the cool guys in our own story?
Not a fucking chance.
Okay, Farva, time to pick your snake.
This guy's actually kind of cute.
Since it's the neck, it's best to suck it out.
Check it out. Barbara, that's my mom.
Fucking idiots.
I don't know. What do you want to know? It's a Super Troopers movie. Have a few drinks, smoke some weed responsibly, and enjoy. Those that have never seen Super Troopers are not going to say, man, I haven't seen the others. I'm just going to go see the third one. You love it or you hate the original or the sequel, and that's who's buying a ticket. Which, not to judge, but maybe that's why I was the only one in the theater this afternoon. The second installment didn't really impress me, and this one banks heavily on more nostalgia than the second one. So if you don't remember the previous two, you probably won't appreciate the jokes in this go-around. But if you did see the original films, this is one we can see age like a fine wine sitting in the sun for a couple years. It gets a little sour. Super Troopers 3 has the difficult job of continuing a comedy franchise whose biggest strength has always been the chemistry of this cast, how much fun the cast has with each other. The original Super Troopers became a favorite because it felt loose, it felt new, it felt energetic, it felt slightly dangerous, like a bunch of funny friends had somehow convinced someone to give them police cars and a budget. Its jokes were memorable because they often came from personality, and again, it felt fresh, it felt new, it felt like a bunch of friends with a camcorder, rather than concentrating on a plot. The troopers played games with civilians, insulted each other, abused their tiny amount of authority, and generally behaved like teenagers who had discovered badges. And that's what the original was targeted for, is to really have fun with authority that really did home in on the teenage crowd. Here, they're much older, and so are we. So where does that leave us? Is a film that feels familiar with characters, but also structured and sporadic at the same time. We can tell the writing took a little bit to get warmed up as our boys wake up in the morning trying to get out of bed. But once our boys get warmed up, they do cook some truly funny moments. The problem we have is that in the hour and 45 minutes, I can count on one hand how many funny moments the film actually had with a criminal plot that just seemed to be inserted to close up the movie at a climactic climax. This is more of a Hangover sequel mixed with Meet the Fockers than a Super Troopers sequel, where all the nostalgia around our state troopers is at bare minimum, except our troopers adapting to technology, along with all the laughs around the Farva's bachelor party. Now, before I get ahead of myself, Let me just state the plot. Super Troopers 3 brings back our original cast and more, where Farva, played once again by Kevin Heffernan, rescues Thorny's sister Sarita, played by Hannah Simone. Thorny, again played by Jay Chandrasekhar. Sarita is driven off the road by a random car, and Farva is the one to pull her out of the car before it bursts into flames. This makes for Sarita and Farva to fall in love and be engaged to be married, with Thorny's sole intent is to break up the wedding. Fucking Farva. Now, during the halfway mark, when we get into the wedding stuff, the movie works as a comedy. There is some old school humor that actually does work. But where the movie fails is trying to justify that these are still cops, and that's where the movie is at its weakness. You can take out all the state trooper stuff, all the cop stuff, all the criminal background stuff, and the movie would still be the same. It would actually be a lot more fun because it shortens the runtime, the pacing wouldn't have a lot of issues, and we get to see these characters in a new situation. But instead, it's like the movie is trying to separate itself from the original, but still wants to appease fans or remind them that this is still a Super Troopers movie. When we don't need to be reminded. We know these characters. Those that buy a ticket know these characters. We just want to see something new, something funny, and this always feels the desperate need to always insert reminders of what once was, when all the new fresh jokes are what are really holding up the movie. So this begs the biggest question surrounding a third installment, is whether the formula can still work. Comedy is especially difficult to revise because audiences remember the best jokes of the original. The original film had the advantage of surprise. Nobody knew what to expect from these characters, and the humor felt unpredictable, unhinged, and at the time a little bit shocking. By this film, the third film, when comedies are very scarce in the theaters and we've already seen a couple of decades of a lot of risque humor, viewers have a pretty good idea of what the Super Troopers experience looks like. There will be stupid arguments, there will be insults, there will be inappropriate behavior. Someone will probably take a simple situation and turn it into a ridiculous competition. Authority figures will be mocked, rules will be ignored, somebody will say something so dumb that the other character will stare at them in disbelief and have a clever comeback. We know the formula. When going into a third installment, show us something new. Maybe get a different set of writers that respect their original material to make it edgier. You know, it's like what I said. Broken Lizard's biggest strength has been the cast chemistry, and it almost feels like here we can see when they are all having a good day, a complicated day, or even a bad day. The chemistry's energy just seems off here at times. It seems all over the place. It's not a consistent energy that we get from our cast. But when the energy is at its highest, Super Troopers 3 feels like reconnecting with old friends. The cast can show it has easy chemistry that cannot be manufactured by anybody else. It's like watching the Jackass crew have fun with a bunch of friends. Broken Lizard's biggest strength has always been the sense that these performers genuinely enjoy playing off one another. We just don't get that feeling that it's improvised in this go-around. But we can tell in moments, even when a joke doesn't completely land, the energy between the actors can still keep a scene moving. The characters know exactly how to push each other's buttons, and that rhythm gives the movie its personality. Again, in moments, not a consistent level. It feels inconsistent or tired at times, which makes the movie feel like it doesn't justify the hour and 45-minute runtime. I felt myself checking the time multiple times during my viewing. Adding to this kind of problem of pacing is the film occasionally feels too comfortable relying on that reliance of personality of our cast. And when we rely on the personality of the cast, this goes to the inconsistencies where we can almost tell the temperature of our cast, which again, they're tired, they're frustrated, they don't want to be there, or they really want to be there. We can really feel that on screen. Without chemistry, there is a difference between revisiting a familiar comedy formula and simply repeating it. And you can tell our cast, when they repeat it, are exhausted by these jokes. Some jokes feel like variations on material the franchise has already explored. And when we revisit this, we can see the exhaustion from our cast. Nostalgia can be powerful, but nostalgia alone cannot carry an entire movie. Sometimes the audience feels it, and sometimes we can see our cast feels it, and it becomes exhausting for both. This is where the cast feels like in performance that they are tired with some of the same old jokes, but we can tell a new energy in a fresh situation the guys are at their best. But these new situations needed to go further. But still, there's a level of respect for me for the movie not becoming too polished. It's rough around the edges, and I appreciate that about the quality. Super Troopers 3 is not trying to reinvent comedy, and that could be its biggest flaw. It is not attempting to transform these characters into emotionally mature adults, which again can be its biggest flaw. It is not attempting to transform these characters into an emotionally mature adults who learn valuable lessons about friendship and responsibility. Again, this could be its biggest flaw. But the frustration is this could also be its strength during the movie. Watching Farva discover inner peace would probably be the most unrealistic thing this franchise has ever attempted. But it's still a miss for me. But it's better than the second, and given the hints of a fourth installment that I have high hopes for, I'm giving Super Troopers 3 2 stars.
All my glory days were left behind till a plastic ball came changing my mind.
A washed-up tennis pro tries to save a club by playing pickleball to earn his father's respect in the Apple TV exclusive, The Dink.
Tennis, elegance, aesthetic perfection. She needs our protection. An epidemic is sweeping across our once great nation, and its name is
Pickleball, bitch.
Yeah. Here's your pickleball. Get in the garbage. This is a tennis club, lady.
Get your pickleball ass out of here.
My name is Dusty Boyd.
You're crushing these old people, Dusty.
But most people know me as the Hammer.
How come you work for your dad teaching 9-year-olds?
He's the guy that almost beat Andy Roddick.
My wrist! Walk it off!
Come on, come on!
Maybe you could, I don't know, hook me up with something for the pain.
Take it easy with us, okay?
Come on, come on!
You wrote a prescription for pickleball?
You didn't actually bring it to the pharmacy, did you?
Oh, of course not. I'm not an idiot.
I know pickleball is sort of dorky, but it's the fastest road back to tennis for you.
Come on in here. Let's bang one out. You know we serve underhand.
What's that?
Underhand.
Oh, I know, obviously.
Bang! Ah! Just take the temperature down. Don't have to hit it that hard.
Dink! Come on! You want a rematch? Yes, I'd like that opportunity.
You could be a great pickleballer. That was fun.
This is about a lot more than just pickleball. It's about the decline of humanity itself. What can we even do? We can duel.
Like with guns?
Sadly, no. We settle it on the court.
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
I'm okay.
Oh, I get it now. It's like tennis, but easy.
You getting ready to lose.
Yeah, you little slut.
I can't believe that this is happening.
All of Roddick's professional achievements are all actually Dusty's.
I'm struggling to connect those dots.
Maybe you need to go to dot connecting lessons.
Nice burn.
You know, more recently, I just watched another film called Pickleball, starring the brother of the late Chris Farley, Kevin Farley. And you know, both movies have something in common, is the fact they both cover a sport that targets middle-aged and older to set up for some comedic moments. The difference between the two is one requires an over-the-top approach to gain laughs, such as hits to the groin, loud characters, and impracticality, while the other stays grounded, uses its words, treats situations as opportunities, and has quite a bit of heart to it. And when it comes to the middle-aged racket sports movies, The Dink is the clear winner between the two. The Dink stars Jake Johnson as Dustin Boyd, who grew up with a competitive father, Chuck, played by Ed Harris, to grow him into an unstoppable tennis champion. And Dustin at a young age becomes such, even gaining the nickname The Hammer that he proudly tattoos on his arm. An accident happens to Dustin during a big game at a young age, and now Dustin is now teaching kids how to play tennis at his father's exclusive club, where Dustin still can't let go of the past and still has a big ego of being the best, and blames everybody else for his fallout from stardom. Alongside Dustin, his fanboy assistant PJ, played by Aaron Chen, who has some funny lines here without going over the top, Now, when I say over the top, this is where comedies will either fall hard or be memorable for a proper balance of heart and comedy. The Dink goes more in the tradition of not really going for full belly laughs, but have an overhanging sweetness to it, such as movies like Out to Sea, Grumpy Old Men, City Slickers, with a dash of 1997's Fierce Creatures. All these movies have something in common. They all have to have likable characters, and they have to have characters and talent that are smart enough to ensure we are buying what they're selling. Now, I'm not saying that The Dink is as good as the movies I just listed above, but there is some comfort the movie brings to the viewer while watching, including what could be a very awkward chemistry and relationship when we have Candace, played by Mary Steenburgen, where in their first meeting, Dustin is showing off his tennis skills to Candace, who is playing pickleball on the next court over. The two end up forming a bond based on their past grievances, where this leads to the main conflict of pickleball players wanting more courts, and the pickleball president, Skip, played by Patton Oswalt, try to convince Ed Harris to, of course, a big game to decide. And you can all probably piece together who's going to play in the big game and what the outcome's even going to be. This puts Dustin in a dilemma of pleasing his father or keeping the new friendship of Candace. Oh, what is Dustin going to do? The movie doesn't try and surprise, and I'm okay with that as long as it does something to make us feel good for a sports movie about pickleball. And you know what? It does. Even at its most cliche, it has moments that make us feel good. Now, that's not to say that the movie deserves high praise, but I will give credit. It does deliver exactly what the viewer is going to predict going into it. Especially with a good cast here, with a lot of talent that just kind of pops in to say hi, including Ben Stiller, Don Lake, Wayne Wilderson, Chris Parnell, probably all the talent that have invested into Apple TV. But they still have some fun insertions here. As we get into the climax, we can tell the movie does run out of breath when it comes to comedy, even though the big game is set up for success of a great comedic moment. Even for a subtle comedy, the movie tends to hold back from obvious moments of comedy, where it does feel like a heavier focus on the first half of the movie to be comedy, and the second half to be more heart, with the two mildly mixing throughout the film. Jake Johnson, the Dustin character, we can tell our writer Sean Clements, who has mainly written for TV, wanted a character arc for Dustin, and we do see a moment of change where we see a different character in the back half of the movie, but it's more of a drastic change than the movie really needed. And then we have to really rely on the rest of the cast to do a full reverse than what we saw in the first half, and push more for laughs to supplement the laughs from our Dustin character. Our director, Josh Greenbaum, knows he is at his best when he's not trying to direct a comedy that's sole intent is to make you laugh for a constant 90 minutes, as we saw in his 2023 film, Strays. We take 2021's Barb and Star, go to Vista Del Mar, or the Netflix film from 2024 that was full of heart, the Will Ferrell documentary Will and Harper. Greenbaum knows how to capture and control characters when he wants to, and this is on full display here. Even though we can see he really wanted to keep to the script and crescendo the heart versus the laughs in the second half of the movie. For a movie that uses pickleball without insulting the sport, it really does entertain mostly, but it's held up by the talent on screen. Holistically, without a clever director and the talent on hand, I'm not sure this is a movie that could have worked, but I don't like to assume. The Dink actually did take me by surprise on how it controlled itself and was able to convince me as a viewer that these are real stakes for our characters. But this isn't a movie about pickleball or stakes. It's about characters and dealing with past and moving on. We know it's a movie about pickleball on the surface, but it tells a deeper message that holistically is pretty elementary to understand. But again, when having a message to be told in a pickleball movie, I wouldn't expect anything else. I'm giving the Dink a dink of a recommendation at 3 stars. And that's a cut on this week's edition of The Movie Wire. I want to thank you for listening and thank you for your support. You can also show support by following me on Instagram, Blue Sky, X, Thread, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Letterboxd at Movie Wire Show. And please don't forget to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you haven't yet checked out the Cult-Worthy Cinema Podcast and the Movie Wire's crossover show, Back to the Balcony, make sure you do. Again, the link of that show will be in the description of this episode. Until next week, do me a favor. Make sure you stay for after the credits to show the respect to those that put their blood, sweat, and tears into making a feature film and support your local movie theaters.
See you next week. Don't forget, stay tuned. and say goodbye.
Thank you for bringing me to the movies.
Let the credits roll. We say farewell. Join us next time. We'll have more tales to tell.